So there's been a lot of questions and concerns about how to use the Sunlu Filament Connector. A lot of people are saying it is pretty difficult to splice two ends of the filaments together while they are still on the spool. But I'm going to show you it's actually not that bad, okay? So what you want to do is position the two spools like that so that, you have one end that is feeding wrapped around like this, and then you have the other one like this. So it's kind of like in a symmetrical manner. What that allows you to do is when these two joint, it's gonna go at an almost straight point like that. So the next thing you want to do is you grab one of these sleeves that came with the splicer. You wait until the device warmed up. You put one of these like this in there, and then you insert the other end like this. And then I would just do a little, pull this apart a little bit to make sure that this aligns in the center. And I would use my thumb and my index finger as shown like this. And then you just kind of put this in here, and then you use your thumb to close it, and you apply just moderate pressure on both ends. And then this is gonna beep. Now you use your thumb to release it, and then you take this whole thing apart while still holding it like this. You don't release it, you keep holding onto it. Just remember that once you take this filament out of the heater core, you still have about 15 seconds to reposition it. So if you messed up the positioning while I was in there, you can just reposition it like this. So after about 15 seconds, what I would do is I would just kind of lightly tap it with my fingers. Your fingers act as a heat sink in that case. You don't want to hold onto it for too long because it could cause a little minor burn. But see, there you have it, right? And then you can just slide the sleeve to either side, check the smoothness, and then now you can remove the sleeve by placing it onto the built-in razor. Press on it. Now it's done. So I'm going to be back in a little bit because I have another spool I have to connect to the end of this, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back for round two. So we have I call this the destination spool over here, and then I have the source spool over here. Kind of let it dangle like this. And again, just kind of straighten this out a little bit. You don't have to be too perfect, just so that that's all you need. And then you do the same thing on here. And then you grab one of these sleeves. You place one end over here. Then you place the other end in here. Hold it like this. Try to make it center. Now you put that in there. Again, just use your thumb and your index fingers on both hands to apply moderate pressure. You don't want to overdo it because that could cause a blob in the middle, and it could cause it to get stuck. So once it beeps, you can just take it out like this, hold it in place as best as you can for maybe about 15 seconds for it to solidify for the first phase. And then you can just lightly tap on it with your finger, maybe on both hands, and then switch your fingers, switch position. Your fingers act as a heat sink and let it cool and solidify a little bit sooner. So once you don't feel any heat from your finger, you can just then slide the sleeve, check for the smoothness, and again, place the filament in here, press on this to cut the sleeve, then you can just remove it. And then what I do is I then just go like this to re-spool it. It takes maybe 15-30 seconds, and you're done.